morning. And welcome to the UU Church of the South Hills, also known as Sunnyhill. We're delighted that you could join us for this service. Our mission at Sunnyhill is to create a more just and compassionate community within and beyond our walls. My name is Ella McGaw, and I serve as a worship associate for this congregation. If you're a newcomer or visitor to us, please go to sunnyhill.org and click on the button that says New to Sunnyhill to receive more information about our congregation and to receive our weekly email newsletter. Also, if you'd like to be greeted as a newcomer after the service, please take a red mug and members will seek you out to make sure you are warmly welcomed. And if you're joining us online today, please say hello or good morning in the comments on Facebook or YouTube. We'd like to hear from you and extend a welcome to you as well. We welcome children of all ages to our service. For quiet play, we have a children's area here in the sanctuary. For louder activities, we have a nursery just outside the corner entrance. We also have a comfort room accessible through the back hallway from which you can hear and see the service. A gentle reminder to everyone, please silence your cell phones and other electronic devices so that we can enjoy the service uninterrupted by buzzing or ringing. Today's sermon is titled, Why Going to Church is Good for You. In a bygone era, it was assumed that almost everyone would belong to a religious community of one kind or another. But that assumption no longer holds, as more and more people are unchurched. What are the real benefits of going to church, and what does it mean to belong to a church in our own era of political, social, and economic chaos and uncertainty? Our opening words in chalice lighting are in the form of a responsive reading. After each line we read, please respond by saying, "Love is the power that holds us together." When fear and hatred are running rampant all around us, love is the power that holds us together.
When we ourselves are afraid and don't know what to do,
love is the power that holds us together. When our freedoms are under assault by the powers that be, love is the power that holds us together.
When justice and compassion seem like distant dreams, love is the power that holds us together.
When we think we are completely powerless,
love is the power that holds us together. When the nights are long and we cannot find hope,
love is the power that holds us together. When we light our chalice each Sunday in celebration of our shared faith, love is the power that holds us together.
Good morning. Good morning. Please rise and bow to your spirit to join in singing our opening hymn. And believe it, we were made for these times.
don't lose heart. We were made for these times. Don't lose heart. We were made for these times. Don't lose heart. We were made for these times. Show your soul.
Good morning. It is now our time for all ages. If there are any kiddos that want to come on up, and Ella's, now's your chance. Good morning, friends. All right, I'm curious. How many people here use a bag to carry their stuff? Yeah? It could even be a gym bag or a purse or a toolbox. Yeah? Some extra hands? I think so. Whatever it is, the things we pack inside are the tools we need to tackle whatever the day may bring. But there are also tools we need every day that we can't just pack in a bag. Things like respect, kindness, acceptance, justice, curiosity, listening. These are the values we carry into the world every day as Unitarian Universalists. Today, in our religious education classroom, we'll be making small keychains to attach to our backpacks or notebooks. They look like this. Reminders of those other tools we bring with us into the world. You might use them at school, online, or at home if you're homeschooled. But there's one more thing I think we should add. Would you like to take some of the congregation's love with you? If you feel the love here on Sundays, wouldn't it be wonderful to know it's with you the rest of the week too? What do y'all think? Yeah, can we do that? Okay, so we have all these little heart charms. This is what they look like. And we're gonna add them to our keychains downstairs. But they need a little something first. We need to fill them with the love from this room. So this is where I need your help. Everyone, gather up some love from wherever you're keeping it. Maybe it's in your pockets, maybe it's up your sleeves, maybe you keep yours in your shoe. And let's make a nice little pillow of love and just toss it up here so we could catch it in my little bowl of love. Okay? There, whoa, look at all that. That's great. Keep it coming. I love it. Great job. So these hearts, they might look the same, but I know they have a power they didn't have before. They're infused with the love from this congregation. So as we start a new school year or whatever journey you're going to be on as the seasons change, let's remember, you are loved and cared for by every person in this room and so many others out in the world. And with that, let's head to our class, make our keychains, pick our hearts, and learn some more. Let's sing the children out.
As you go, rejoice around you. As you go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go, as you go, rejoice around you. As you go in peace. Know our love is with you always. As you go, as you go.
We invite you to join along on the choruses of this song if you know it, and you'll know it by the end of the song.
And I'll notice if you're not singing. We are living neath the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. I am alone and I am searching, hungering for answers in my time. I am balanced at the brink of wisdom. I'm impatient to receive
sign. I move forward with my senses open. Imperfection, it will be my crime. In humility, I will listen. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living beneath the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. On this journey through thoughts and feelings, binding intuition, my head, my heart, I am gathering the tools together. I'm preparing to do my part. All of those who have come before us, band together and be my guide. Loving lessons that I will follow. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living beneath the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. When we get there, we'll discover all of the gifts we've been given to share have been with us since life's beginning, and we never noticed they were there. We can balance at the brink of wisdom, never recognizing that we've arrived. Loving spirits will live together. We're all swimming to the other side. We are living in the great Big Dipper. We are washed by the very same rain. We are swimming in the stream together, some in power and some in pain. We can worship this ground we walk on, cherishing the beings that we live beside. Loving spirits will live forever. We're all swimming to the other side. This is the time in our service when we share joys and sorrows that have been submitted by members of the congregation. After each joy or sorrow that I read, please respond by saying, "We hold you in our hearts." A joy from Betsy and Keith Mary. We are blessed to have Betsy's cousin Bonnie with us this week, and filled with joy that Zayden will start college at Washington and Jefferson later this week. To Betsy, Keith, friends and family, we hold you in our hearts. A joy from Dallas DeLeo, who says, "My Honda sedan turns 21 this month. I am so grateful." To Dallas, we hold you in our hearts. For everyone today who is threatened by the hurricane that's out in the Atlantic Ocean, for everyone in Washington, D.C., who is threatened by troops that are massing on the streets, to everyone today who is fearful for their lives and livelihoods, we hold you in our hearts. As we sing our musical meditation, we invite anyone who feels moved to do so to please come forward, light a candle, place it in the sand, and then return to your seat.
This song has a couple of optional layers, so I'm gonna stick with the main one, and Jim's gonna sing some of the other ones. So choose your own adventure. Find your favorite place to land.
I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I'm finding my way. I'm finding my way back to now. I'm finding my way. I'm finding my way. I'm finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. I am finding my way. I am finding my way. I am finding my way back to now. Please join me in the spirit of meditation or prayer. We pause now for a moment to hold together in this sacred space during this sacred hour what we cannot hold alone. To hold not only the usual challenges of life, the transitions, changes, and various twists and turns of all human existence, both expected and unexpected, but also to hold the extraordinary challenges of our era. The blatant disregard for human rights and human life, evident in various edicts from Washington and elsewhere. The very real existential threats that are on full display, especially towards those who are most vulnerable. We pause not to lose ourselves in worried rumination, but to find ourselves and our part in the work ahead of us. To sense in this moment that we are not alone, that there is good in the world, that there is always a next step, and then a next step, and then another. We pause for a moment of silence to find our way back to now and back to the possibilities that we create together. May we face all the challenges of life with courage and compassion. May we bring hope into the world through our actions. And may we return to this place of courage, compassion, and hope again and again and again, now and always. Amen. It's been a few weeks since I've been in the pulpit, so I'm knocking off a little rust today. I appreciate your patience. I want to again express my gratitude to the members of my sermon writing class who have been doing such a stellar job leading services all of this summer. If you would just join me in thanking them. I'm a little bit anxious as a person in general, so it helps me a lot when I leave for a couple of weeks to know that things are in good hands on Sunday mornings, and I'm so grateful for that. and so grateful for all of you. It's a real pleasure and an honor to be up here in front of you each and every week, and I never take that for granted. When I was growing up, these many decades ago, there was an implicit assumption that pretty much everyone belonged to some religious community or another, whether it was the local Catholic church or one of the many Protestant churches, or in some cases, the synagogue in the town nearby. There were some exceptions, but they really were few and far between. In fact, looking back on my childhood friends, I can't really remember any that didn't attend one congregation or another. Not everyone attended every week. Even in those days, of course, there were people that only attended on special occasions. There's a joke about a man who went to church one Christmas Eve, and as he was leaving, the minister took him aside and said to him, "My son, it's time that you joined the army of the Lord." And the man said, "Pastor, I'm already in the army of the Lord." And the minister said, "Well, why is it that we see you only on Christmas and Easter then?" And the man leaned in close and whispered, "It's because I'm in the Secret Service." But 40 or 50 years ago, whether they were regulars or only occasional Secret Service attendees, pretty much everyone belonged to some religious community or another. And in most cases, there was a long history of connection between people's families and their religious communities. Some families belonged to the same religious community for generations and generations. Today, the religious landscape in America is greatly altered. In fact, today, fewer than 20% of all Americans attend religious services regularly, which is down from nearly 80% some 40 years ago. That is a huge decline in a relatively short period of time. Curiously, nearly 75% of Americans still consider themselves affiliated with a particular religious tradition, but fewer than 20% actually attend on a regular basis. Now, there are a lot of reasons for this decline. The first is that most churches are struggling to adapt well to our times. Much of the way that churches are organized and the way that they are run is deeply embedded in the 19th century, so not just one century, but a couple of centuries behind. From music to views on social issues, many churches seem mired in a bygone era. I know clergy who serve congregations who see themselves in the role of hospice chaplains for those churches because they are dying. Not just the people who are members of these congregations, but the congregations themselves are dying. That's not the case, I'm glad to say, here at Sunnyhill, which continues to be a growing, thriving congregation. In addition, more and more businesses are open on Sundays, which is no longer a day of rest for many people, but a working day. And there are also lots of other activities, swim meets and hockey and soccer games and other events for children and families that didn't used to take place on Sundays. For a variety of reasons, many people just don't find church relevant to their lives. And to be honest, churches that are irrelevant to people's real lives probably need to die. Because any church that is not about what's going on right now and is not about transformation, transforming people's lives and our institutions, including the church itself, if we're not engaged in that kind of church, then it's really not a religious enterprise in my way of thinking. But here's the strange thing. People who do attend church on a regular basis or any kind of religious congregation, even those dying, irrelevant congregations, tend to be healthier than people who do not attend church. T.M. Luhrmann, a professor of anthropology at Stanford, noted that one of the most striking scientific discoveries about religion in recent years is that going to church weekly is good for you. Religious attendance boosts the immune system and decreases blood pressure and may add as much as 2 to 3 years to your life. The reason for this phenomenon, she says, is unclear. Certainly, one of the reasons is social support. People who attend church regularly are more likely to benefit from a network of people who will help them when they are struggling or ill, who will provide meals and rides, who will sit with them when they are facing difficult situations, who will be there for that person in whatever way is needed. And that's clearly the case, I would say, here at Sunnyhill. If you're involved in this church for any significant length of time, you will likely benefit from the social support provided through relationships with others in the church. That's real and that is important. But I suspect there's something even deeper going on among people who attend religious services on a regular basis. I think that increased health among regular church attendees has something to do with what I would call religious imagination. That the ways we conceive of the world and our role in it has a very real effect on our physical and mental health. Luhrmann, speaking from the point of view of a cultural anthropologist, puts it this way: any faith that demands you experience the world as more than just what is material and observable, this is a skill and that can be learned. We can call it absorption, the capacity to be caught up in your imagination in a way you enjoy. In the examples that Luhrmann cites, the congregations that encourage their members to imagine a loving God as opposed to a judging, punishing God, generally have members that are healthier. By extension, I believe that religious communities that put forth images of the good as something toward which we can aspire, whether in the form of God or in some other form, will produce similar results. Eventually, Luhrmann says, studying this phenomenon may teach us how to harness the placebo effect, a terrible word, she says, because it suggests an absence of intervention rather than the presence of a healing mechanism that depends neither on pharmaceuticals nor on surgery. We do not understand the placebo effect, she says, but we know it is real. That is, we have increasingly better evidence that what anthropologists would call symbolic healing has real physical effects on the body. At the heart of some of these mysterious effects may be the capacity to trust that what can only be imagined may be real and be good. I find these studies fascinating in part because they confirm my own personal experience, namely that going to church is not only good for you, it can be life-affirming and even life-saving. I'll offer my own testimony as an example. We don't testify a whole lot in UU churches. But every now and then I think it might be a good idea. As many of you know, I was raised in the United Methodist Church. My father was a minister, so my sister and I went to church pretty much every Sunday. And mostly church was a very positive and uplifting experience for me as I was growing up. I felt loved and supported by that church community, which is a very important thing for our children and youth to feel. But when I went off to college, I decided that it was time to take a break. In part, I just had enough. And in part, there were things about the United Methodist Church at that time, especially having to do with LGBTQ issues, that just did not make sense to me. So for nearly 20 years, I was almost entirely unchurched, a member of that secret service organization. The one annual exception that I did attend was the University of North Carolina United Methodist Campus Ministries Messiah Sing-Along every year around Christmas. It wasn't until I was in my late 30s that I started feeling again a strong need to be part of a religious community. I was newly sober after decades of struggling with substance abuse. I was newly divorced, losing not just my partner, but many of my closest friends in the process. I was feeling isolated and often utterly alone, unable to imagine a brighter future myself, feeling just completely disconnected. So I found my local UU church in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, which I had thought about visiting for years. In fact, for about 15 years, I lived just 2 blocks away from that church, but I'd never been able to make it on a Sunday morning. I remember sneaking into the back of the church on this particular Sunday, just after the service had begun, trying to be as inconspicuous as I possibly could. And as I sat there listening, singing, and just being among these people, I found myself weeping, tears falling despite not wanting to draw any attention to myself. I don't even remember what the topic of that particular service was, but I know that by simply being there, I was affirming one of my most basic values, which is the value of deep connection with other human beings. I made that leap that I know each of us who is here has made at some point or another. I showed up and, in essence, was saying, let's be human beings together. Let's practice what it means to be human by gathering with one another and exploring things that matter most in our lives and in the life of our world. Let us do so by holding up a mirror to ourselves and to our world and aspiring to be more together than we can be alone. By imagining possibilities that we are unable to imagine unless we are in the company of others. We are living in times that are distressing, to say the least. It's hard to hold a mirror up to our society when we see federal agents arresting and detaining people with no regard for due process, when we see affirming health care taken away from transgender youth, when we see attempts to whitewash our nation's problematic history, when we see public art and public broadcasting funding eliminated, when we see marriage equality threatened, and much, much more. Some of the people who founded this congregation 60 years ago remember risking their lives fighting fascism overseas during World War II. And I know that a few of you in this room lost relatives in Nazi concentration camps at Auschwitz and elsewhere. And yet here we are again, with authoritarianism and fascism running rampant, not just overseas, but in our own streets. These are hard times. But our voices opposing authoritarianism and fascism, must be heard now more than ever. And we are always stronger together. This is no time to hide at home under the covers. We might need to do that every now and then, but it is time for us to come together to do battle with hatred, to fight for justice with everything that we've got, to love this world fiercely with our hearts and our hands. Church is good for you. It's good for all of us because it helps us know that we are not alone. It helps us know that there are possibilities that we can imagine together that we cannot imagine by ourselves. It's good for us because we are good for each other. And we will need each other to survive. I hope and pray that we will learn and relearn together why church is good for us, that we will invite others to join us on this journey, and that we will co-create a world of possibility, a world of compassion and justice with each step we take along the way. May it be so. Amen.
Please rise again in body or spirit and join in singing one more step.
Our Share the Plate beneficiary for the month of August is Global Links, a Pittsburgh-based nonprofit dedicated to improving health in communities with need. Since 1989, Global Links has been sharing surplus rescued from the U.S. healthcare system and collaborating with government officials, healthcare professionals, and community organizations to develop projects that support public health goals, both internationally and domestically, by improving access to quality healthcare and needed materials. You can make a gift online on our website or by text at 412-324-3130. We'll be passing our offering baskets for cash and checks in just a moment. If you're writing a check, please make it out to UUCSH and put "share the plate" in the memo line.
A long time ago, a million years BC, the best things in life were absolutely free. But no one appreciated a sky that was always blue, and no one congratulated a moon that was always new. So it was planned that they would vanish now and then, and you must pay before you get them back again. That's what storms were made for, so you shouldn't be afraid, for every time it rains, pennies from heaven. Don't you know each drop contains pennies from heaven? You'll find your fortune calling all over town. Be sure that your umbrella is upside down. Trade 'em for a package of sunshine and flowers. If you want the things you love, you must have showers. So when you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me. Trade it for a package of sunshine and flowers. If you want the things you love, you must have showers. So when you hear it thunder, don't run under a tree. There'll be pennies from heaven for you and me.
I just want to do a really quick big thank you to Alex Farb and Sabrin Long. They're also returning to college and going to college for the first time, so let's throw some pillows of love their way. Yeah. We're just so lucky that we have so much talent in and related to our congregation. Thanks for coming, guys.
Please join me in saying the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
If you're looking for a way to connect more deeply with members of Sunnyhill and provide the kind of mutual support that I was talking about earlier, our Sharing Circle signups open today after the service. Sharing Circles are a wonderful way to build deeper connections within our Sunnyhill community. Groups meet monthly to share stories, listen deeply, and explore meaningful topics in a supportive space. If you're interested, please stop by the table in the fellowship hall to secure your spot. We'll close with these words. Love is more than just rainbows and butterflies. Love is challenging, and it has the potential to transform ourselves and our world when we learn to lean into it and lead from it. In the coming week, may we open ourselves to the power of love. May we recognize its challenge and its solace. And may we center our lives around the love that will not let us go. Go in the power of love. Go in peace.